At UFC Fight Night 264, Gabriel Bonfim cracked Randy Brown with a knee straight out of a video game to end their welterweight headliner just 80 seconds into round 2. Brazil's latest knockout artist reminded everyone that violence can be art, but art is subjective. Brown was putting up a good fight until Bonfim sent him flying to the canvas early in round 2, with what looked like a fight-ending blow. While Brown fell hard, he instantly protested the referee's decision to stop the fight. But everyone settled a little when they watched the replay. "He was asleep," said Bonfim at the post-fight presser. "He was knocked out, his eyes were in the back of his head." Then came the call-out, the king of chaos, controversy, and of late, inactivity. Colby Covington. The former interim champ might seem like a strange choice, given his lack of fights and success in recent years, but he's well overdue for a fight, so why not? And in the co-main, the Ultimate Fighter Season 33 winner Joseph Morales is determined not to waste his second chance at a UFC career, and he proved it by submitting Matt Schnell in the first round. With the champ Alexandre Pantoja set to defend against the always dangerous Joshua Van at December's UFC 323, Morales is already game planning from the sidelines.
I hit him so hard from the reach.
"I think Pantoja's one of the greatest flyweights of all time," Morales said. "I honestly would love for him to win because I feel I match up great with him. I feel like his striking is really good, but I just have the IQ and his jiu-jitsu is great, but so is mine. I feel I'd be able to match that." Bonfim and Christian Leroy Duncan snatched $50K performance bonuses on the main card, while Josh Hokit and Zachary Reese earned theirs on the prelims. There was no fight of the night, just fast finishes and quick paydays. In other news, Islam Makhachev enters this weekend's UFC 322 with a rare chance to do something truly special. And Michael Bisping thinks a win could permanently elevate him into an all-time great territory. After vacating the lightweight crown earlier this year following the division's record-setting defense streak, Makhachev now moves up to welterweight to face Jack Della Maddalena. The challenge? A victory not only makes Makhachev the 11th fighter in UFC history to win titles in 2 weight classes, it also ties Anderson Silva's hallowed 16-fight UFC win streak record. For Bisping, that would officially place Islam among the upper echelons of MMA besides names like Silva, John Jones and Demetrius Johnson, even if they all boast much deeper title defense resumes. "I'm certainly not critiquing Islam Makhachev's career. I'm not nitpicking or discrediting it at all," reasoned Bisping. "If he gets the job done, I think without question he deserves to be in that conversation." And in lighter news, Khabib Nurmagomedov recently reflected on his demolition of Conor McGregor, and he sounded like a man describing his favourite holiday. "One thing is really, really beautiful in this world. When you don't like somebody, you go inside the cage, you smash him, and they give you money," Nurmagomedov said while reminiscing about McGregor. "Outside of the cage, if you do this, you go to jail." Before their infamous title clash at UFC 229, McGregor's trash talk had crossed multiple lines, and Khabib took it personally. What followed was one of the most chaotic and unforgettable demolition jobs in fight history. Hearing Khabib talk about it now though, you'd never guess how much anger fueled that moment. He remembers it fondly, almost lovingly, as one of the best times of his life. "I was waiting for this moment to fight McGregor for so long. I could not only fight, but also talk to him. I used that moment to enjoy the way, like you go to the Maldives. It was my vacation." At One Fight Night 37, Samet Agdeve walked into Bangkok as a debutant and walked out a world champion. The undefeated Turkish tank upset Roman Kryklia, who had been unbeaten for 7 years, to claim the inaugural ONE heavyweight kickboxing world title. Kryklia came in hunting for another viral finish, trying to add Agdeve to a long list of men he'd sent into orbit, but Agdeve wasn't going anywhere. He ate the shots, absorbed the pressure, and hacked away at Kryklia's leg until it looked like a piece of overripe fruit before unloading up top whenever he got close. The Ukrainian repeatedly tried to rally, but every attempt was met with crunching shots to his entire being. Agdeve kept chopping, punching, and walking forward, and by the championship rounds, Kryklia was fighting on fumes and one leg. Agdeve ended the night throwing bombs, wobbling the 6'7" skyscraper with clubbing hooks. When the final bell rang, the judges gave the Turkish fighter the unanimous decision victory, which extended his unblemished record out to 18-0 and earned him ONE's newest heavyweight crown. The king had arrived, and he thanked his mother for the throne. In the co-main, Nico Carrillo kept his number 4 featherweight Muay Thai ranking by dismantling Luke Lisi. Round 1 saw the King of the North send Lisi to the mat. Round 2 was a clinic, with Lisi trapped in the corner. Carrillo unleashed 9 unanswered strikes before the refs stepped in. The Scot moves to 29-4 and one step closer to Tawanchai's gold. Black Panther took a fight on short notice, and he turned his bout with Johannes Stupnian into more highlight reel material. A right hand scored the first knockdown in round 2, an elbow the second, and a left hook finished Panda Kick for good. Make that 4 straight wins for Black Panther. Lito Adewang's flyweight MMA debut ended in fireworks. Adewang blitzed forward against Mauro Mastromarini and planted a left hook on the Argentine's chin before finishing the job with ground and pound in round 1. And Japan's Taiki Naito lived up to his silent sniper nickname. After peppering Nakrov Fairtex with every punch in his arsenal, he slipped a hook and dropped the Thai veteran with a jab before sealing the deal with a surgical left-right combination for the cold-hearted KO. There's a low hum in boxing circles about Anthony Joshua's next move and whether it finally lands in 2025. His promoter, Eddie Hearn, insists the heavyweight has options, and a few of them are so wild they're starting to make sense. The former 2-time unified heavyweight champion hasn't fought since being stopped by Daniel Dubois at Wembley last September, but he's plotting a route back that he hopes will end in a Tyson Fury megafight. Before that though, Hearn says a tune-up, and there's one name that keeps popping up: Jake Paul. He has started training camp and he's looking to fight, whether that's in February, whether that's against Jake Paul, or whether it's on one of our existing shows. Anything is possible at this stage. Paul, who is one of the highest paid boxers despite starting his pro career just 5 years ago, usually fights at 200 pounds. And he called out AJ, who won his first world title in 2016 and who last weighed in at 252 pounds. It's like a Tesla calling out a tank. But still, if we are going to have a run-out fight, why not run out against Jake Paul for a lot of money? Asked Hearn. I can't tell you that it's close or that we have seen a contract, but if he really wants to fight Joshua, I don't see why we wouldn't have a chance to do that fight. Meanwhile, Paul's been picking fights with anyone who will take the bait. After his bout with Tank tanked due to Davis's stupidity, Paul targeted Francis Ngannou, and Francis wasn't amused. Davis is a fantastic boxer and a one-shot knockout artist. But come on, the weight difference makes no sense, said Ngannou. I said, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. And you can see why. Ngannou, who's fought both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, weighed 256 pounds in his last bout, roughly 56 pounds heavier than Paul usually does, and 120 pounds heavier than Davis. The maths alone was insulting. But instead of taking Ngannou's reasonable rejection in his stride, Paul couldn't help himself. Dear Francis, Paul wrote on Twitter, just say you already got humiliated in boxing and are scared to lose to Jake Paul. I accept that. You are light work, my friend, stuck in mud. It's an odd turn for Paul, who once partnered with the PFL to elevate fighters' pay and respect, as well as to legitimise Ngannou as the one true MMA heavyweight champion after he left the UFC. Now he seems intent on undoing his own goodwill, tweet by tweet. In reply, Ngannou wrote, "Choose your words wisely, boy. I agree that you need someone to discipline you for what you did to Mike Tyson, but stay in your lane." Angry snorting steam emoji. Staying with the heavyweights, surging prospect Moses Itauma returns this January in Manchester, England. He'll face Jermaine Franklin in the headline fight of Frank Warren's Magnificent Seven, a celebration to mark Frank's 45 years in the game. Itauma has looked like a beast, but due to this, he's boxed just 3 rounds this year because his opponents keep getting knocked out. He was ordered to fight the regular champ and multiple-time world title contender Kubrat Pulev, but the Bulgarian said no thank you and chose to fight Matt Gassiev instead. That leaves Itauma with the durable American Jermaine Franklin, who took Joshua the distance on short notice. It's the sort of test fans will want, but the sort of tune-up that isn't really a tune-up. Back at lightweight, the WBC has officially lifted its ban on Ryan Garcia, who was booted from the rankings last year for racist and anti-Muslim tirades online, the lowest point in his very loud fall from grace. The WBC has been very close to Ryan, his family, management and promoter, and we trust a new life inside and outside the ring will begin, read the WBC's official statement. We welcome you with open arms and trust you will be an ambassador for the new generation. Garcia hasn't fought since being upset by Rolly Romero in May, but insiders say a matchup with WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios is being discussed. Nothing has been signed yet, but boxing has a way of rewarding the undeserving, so expect that announcement soon. Staying with the WBC, there's trouble brewing for some women. The champions of MVP Amanda Serrano, Chantel Cameron, and Alicia Baumgardner have all vacated their titles in protest after the sanctioning body refused to sanction 3-minute rounds for women. Cameron, who was staring down the barrel of a Katie Taylor trilogy in 2026, was the latest champ to drop their belt. But the WBC doubled down, citing a study by Pink Concussion as their rationale. According to their independent clinical study, scientific research consistently demonstrates that female athletes experience greater susceptibility to concussion, higher symptom severity, and longer recovery durations compared to males. Pink Concussion is a conglomerate of international and independent medical doctors and attorneys who specialise in neurological studies pertaining to women in sports, both combat and otherwise, domestic violence and accidents, so maybe they're worth listening to. Or not. Despite all that, the WBA women's lightweight champ, Stephanie Han, will defend against Holly Holm this January 3rd on the undercard of Serrano's defence of the other featherweight titles against Erica Cruz. Both of these bouts will use the men's 3-minute rounds. And finally, Clarissa Shields continues to make history and dollars. The 2-time Olympic gold medalist and 5-weight world champion inked a historic $8 million multi-fight deal with Salita Promotions and Win Records. "I've fought my entire career to prove that women's boxing deserves equal respect, equal pay, and equal opportunity," said Shields. "This deal represents more than just a contract, it's a statement." Shields flirted with free agency after her last defense, but T-Rex stayed loyal to Dimitri Salita, her longtime promoter. Reports say several major players courted her before she signed the record-breaking deal. While no opponents have been named, or how many fights there are on the contract, a return in early 2026 is expected. Shields even floated a $15 million super fight with Layla Ali, but the retired legend shut it down. For now, T-Rex remains queen of the ring, and apparently the bank too.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.